Hi there guys, and welcome back to a brand new match review here on the channel. My name is James, and today we're going to go ahead and sit down and talk to you guys about Reading's 1-0 victory over Bristol Rovers. The Royals were back in action at the Select Car Leeson Stadium, and for the third home Saturday game in a row, were kicking off at 12:30. Now, these lunchtime kickoffs on Sky Sports Plus must be a good omen for Reading Football Club, as that's 3 matches played and 3 wins. That's right, a 2-1 win over Huddersfield Town, a 4-1 win over Crawley Town, and then finally today, the 1-0 victory over Bristol Rovers. Someone at Sky Sports has given us some good juju, so thank you very much for that. Now, in terms of this fixture, I've got to say Reading did quite well in the game, but I've got to say it was very much a balanced game. And towards the back end, Reading were really struggling and holding on, as Bristol Rovers, despite only having 10 men, were really giving it to the Royals. Now, in terms of a starting 11 for this fixture, there was a couple of changes that Ruben Celes did make. Joel Pereira continued to play in goal, as he is once again cemented himself as Reading's #1 goalkeeper after being back from injury. The back four remained the same, as 16-year-old Andre Garcia, Tyler Binden, Amadou Mbenge, and makeshift right-back Michael Craig made up the back four. The midfield saw just one change, as Ben Elliott replaced Charlie Savage, Lewis Wing and Harvey Nibbs remained as the other two central midfielders. Kelvin Ehibachiman was still playing out on the wings, as he was now partnered with returning from injury Mamadi Kamara, and Sam Smith returned back to the starting 11, replacing Jaden Wareham up front. Now, in terms of the first half, I've got to say both teams did have their chances in that first half. In terms of chances for Reading, I've got to say Harvey Nibbs really should have put Reading 1-0 up on the stroke of half-time. Before that, though, Sam Smith had a goal that was disallowed for offside. I will say, I do think the linesman got that one correct. Bristol Rovers had their chances as well, and the danger man up front was Promise Omochere. He was someone who I pointed out in the match preview that he was someone Reading would really need to keep an eye on, as he can be a handful for defenders. And I've got to say, I thought he was that, but after 25 minutes, looked like he was blowing chunks. He was absolutely knackered after 20 minutes, and he actually came off with an injury in that first half. Bristol Rovers' best chance of the half, though, came to Ruel Sotieru. The former Leyton Orient man had the best chance of the half, as his shot was dragged wide. Scott Sinclair had a couple of chances as well. Clinton Mola as well in the second half had the best chances for Bristol Rovers, but Joel Pereira was equal to them. But I've got to say, in that first half, it was a bit of an equal one, should I say. I thought Reading had a few chances here and there, especially with the build-up play. I thought Reading's build-up play was really slick and nice in that first half. The midfield passing trio, I thought, looked really good. Bristol Rovers did press Reading though, and they did manage to get the ball back quite a few times. Scott Sinclair, like I said, had a couple of chances. Some of the times, most of his shots were blocked by a Reading defender. But I've got to say, first half, I thought Reading did all right. Like I said, the chances came. One thing that I noticed as well was fouling in dangerous areas, something that Who Scored said Bristol Rovers struggle with. And that is something that they continuously did in that first half, whether it was Lewis Wing having free kicks on the edge of the box, or whether it was him delivering them just from outside the box. Reading had a lot of chances from set pieces, but were unable to really make them count. One in particular that stood out to me was when Harvey Nibbs had a shot that was saved by the goalkeeper Griffiths in goal. The ball then found its way to Ben Elliott, who did a little bit of trickery, got past his man, but he ended up being fouled. Lewis Wing then had a free kick inside the D of the Bristol Rovers box, but unfortunately it fell straight into the wall. Now, like we said, Reading did have that best chance of the first half. It came to Harvey Nibbs, and for me, he really should have either been squaring it or putting the ball away. Here came when he did some really good work from the press and managed to win the ball back off a Bristol Rovers player. He kind of went down a bit easy. I don't know if it was a slip, but he went down really easily, and Harvey Nibbs was then one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He actually had Kelvin Ehibachiman to the left of him, but he didn't decide to square the ball, and he decided just to try and hammer it in the back of the net. But fortunately for Griffiths and Bristol Rovers fans, it was kind of straight at him. It was a smart stop. It was a very good save. And yeah, unfortunately for us, we went into the half-time break at 0-0. Reading, though, did eventually make it 1-0 in the second half. It came when Sam Smith was able to score on his return to the starting 11, his 5th goal in League One for this season. It actually came, though, after Bristol Rovers ended up getting a man sent off. It was from Shakai Ford, who ended up getting a red card for a second yellow. He kicked the ball away after falling on top of it, and look, It's a silly mistake from the boy. He's only 20 years old. He's going to learn not to do that later on in his professional career. But look, silly mistake from him, and got himself sent off. Matty Taylor, I'm sure, was fuming with that. But luckily for us, like we said, Reading were able to take advantage and go 1-0 up. Ben Elliott playing a really nice ball in for Sam Smith. A very similar run to his one in the first half. He ran in between the two defenders and managed to not be offside this time, and managed to slot the ball past the goalkeeper Griffiths and put Reading 1-0 up. Got to say, it was good to see Sam Smith score, and again the competition up front at the moment is raring hot. Jaden Wareham and Sam Smith both scoring a goal each on their last start, so it's good to see both of them in some healthy competition. I've got to say though, after that, Reading's game management was pretty poor. I've got to say, they didn't really manage to get the tactic correct, and Bristol Rovers, despite being 10 men, probably were the better of the two sides. Now, the best chances of the second half, like we said, came to Clinton Mola. The former Royal had the best chances of the second half, one from about 20-25 yards out when he struck the ball, and it was a fantastic save from El Gato Joel Pereira. He then had another chance in the dying minutes of the game as there was pressure being piled on Reading. There was actually another chance, should I say, where he had the ball, flicked it over his head. It was a really smart stop from Joel Pereira, who managed to quick reflex and save it to his left-hand side. Like we said, though, there was another chance in the 90th minute, really the last seconds of the game. Bristol Rovers had a corner come into the box. I'm not sure if it was Clinton Mola who headed it or not, but either way, it was a Bristol Rovers man that headed the ball, and on the line, Joel Pereira was able to punch it and just palm it away, and yeah, keep the clean sheet intact. Bristol Rovers players were all saying that it crossed the line, but luckily for us, there's no goal line technology, and the referee said it wasn't a goal, so no matter what, referee's decision is final, and luckily, Reading were able to keep that clean sheet and win the game by 1-0. Now, with this victory, Reading have moved up in the table by 1 spot. We've moved from 7th to 6th and are actually in the playoff spots now. That's 7 wins, 1 draw and 4 losses from our first 12 games of this season, with 22 points on the board. When you think back to last season, it must have been mid-November, early December when we picked 22 points up. So the fact that Ruben Celes has done this job in the circumstances that he's in at the moment, especially with this team, is fantastic. I've got to say, this Reading side for me is one of the ones that I have most loved for the first time in a very long time. Maybe going back to the 16-17 season, I really loved that team, and I really love this team as well, as I feel like there's such a passion that comes from these Reading players, and they just absolutely will die for the shirt. And yeah, I'm really proud of this Reading Football Club side. In terms of Bristol Rovers, they have dropped by 1 position to 16th. They're 16 points on the board now, 13 games played. And yeah, they got to worry about 6 points away from the bottom 4. No, I'm only joking, Bristol Rovers. I think you'll be fine continuing to play the way you played this year. That's going to be it for this one today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. My name's been James, and we'll see you all again very soon. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.